Hey guys, this is Josh McCormick with Zion Hill Baptist Church Youth, and I just wanted to come to you tonight or today, whatever time you're able to view this, with a little note, a little lesson. Today, we have been studying in Jonah. Went through a moment in my life when I needed a slap in the face, and God sent me Jonah. So we're going to go through Jonah until we get finished with Jonah. We got one more night, maybe in Jonah, and thank you for tuning in. Tonight, we're going to just read Jonah chapter 2, and we're going to talk a little bit briefly about it. This is considered Jonah's prayer. Now, before we get started, I always like to open up in prayer, so if you will, here we go. Lord, I come before you tonight. I just thank you for your many blessings. I just thank you for the ability to come in front of you, Lord, and I just ask you to be with us and prepare our hearts for your word. Lord, for your glory, faith, most holy and precious name. Amen. All right, so a little backstory. So far, Jonah was called to go to Nineveh, and he didn't want to go there. These were some bad people, and he felt they deserved to get whatever punishment God saw fit. And so, in his mind, the right thing to do was to run away, to say, no, God, you don't know what you're doing, and to go the other direction. So he hired a ship and set sail to go to a land called Tarshish. And I cannot say that, so that's the last time you're going to hear me say it. And so he was headed to this other city, and while in travel, the sea erupted in a massive storm and a hurricane. And the ship was tossed, and the sailors were scared, and where'd they find Jonah was asleep in the bottom of the boat. And they go, man, look, how are you asleep? The sea is just horrid. We're going to surely die. You need to pray to your God. They started throwing things overboard. It was just a horrible situation. And Jonah said, no, you're not going to die. I am the cause of this. I serve the one true God, the God of the Hebrews, and he is angry at me. So throw me overboard, and you will be surely saved. And sure enough, they didn't want to. They prayed and earnestly said, God, please don't hold this against us. And they picked him up and they threw him overboard. As soon as Jonah hit the sea, it calmed. Now there's power there. And the fact that as soon as Jonah hit the sea calmed. And the sea and the men of the ship, they were amazed, and they worshiped God, and they made sacrifices to him. That being said, so now Jonah's sitting in the middle of the ocean, not the ocean, but the middle of the sea. And he's sitting there going, okay, now what? You know, he's expecting to surely drown and die a horrible death. But what does God do? He has pity. Even on the biggest fool in the group, me, he has pity, and he sends something in the way to take care of you. In this instance, he sends Jonah a whale, or a big fish is what it's considered. Now, we're going to start tonight in Jonah chapter 2, and I'm just going to dive right on in, okay? So here we go. Now, the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord his God. He said, in my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled around me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight. That's pretty serious right there. Yet I will look again towards your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me. The deep surrounded me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. And that's the end of the scriptures for the night. There's some pretty cool things that happen there, though. You see, first off, Jonah's in the fish. And so that's a pretty tough situation. There's been studies on that trying to disprove it. My Bible says he was in a fish. So we're not going to get into that. But what we will talk about is the fact that Jonah was in a situation where he should not have survived. He should have died immediately. That's something that within a few hours he should have been gone. There's no way he should have been able to survive in there. Honestly, at sea, he stood no chance. So God sending him a fish was just a little glimmer of hope. But at the end of the day, he's still going, dude, I'm in a fish. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the smell being inside the fish? I mean, old rotten fish is bad, but can you imagine a swimming, living one and being on the inside of it? My goodness, that'd be bad. I fish all the time. I don't even want to think about that. So Jonah's sitting in this fish. Now, it doesn't say if, like, we're talking Pinocchio sitting in a fish like a whale, like, Geppetto sitting there catching fish. That ain't what we're talking about. He just says fish. So there's no telling how big he is. He could be cramped up. He could be balled up. He could just be sitting in the belly. He could be sitting in the mouth. Nobody knows. Either way, bad situation. He's literally clinging to life. But it does give a couple things. It says, the engulfing waters threatened me. The deep surrounded me. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. And that's his way of bringing note that as he was drowning, as he knew his life was ending, God sent the fish. Okay? So that's important. He says, when my life was ebbing away, as he's drowning, this is what he's talking about. I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. Now he's in the fish, and you got to be thinking, he's going, okay, what are we going to do now? I'm inside a fish. It went from bad, I'm sitting at sea looking at the sun that's now shining because the storm's over, going, yeah, I can't swim that good. So now he's inside a fish. Yeah, swimming's not going to help now. He's going, okay, God, thank you for the fish. I don't have to die of drowning, but is he gonna digest me? Is he gonna swallow? Is he gonna finish me off this way? What kind of punishment do you have in store for me? That's a pretty tough situation. So he goes, I'm gonna start over. That's what Jonah gets. He gets a do-over. How many times in life does God give us a do-over that we even acknowledge it? How many times during the day does God give us a do-over? You see, the fact is, Jonah is a great example of what it's like to be a normal, everyday Christian. You see, we as Christians, we get told by God many times, hey, you need to go do this. You need to go do that. You need to go here. You need to go there. And being the hard-headed people we are, we go, nah, I don't feel like doing that. Nah, God, you don't know what you're doing. So we go do what we want to do, what we think, oh yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing. And God goes, no. So he sends a storm. And we think, oh, it'll be okay. I can lean on God right now. It'll be okay. The reality is God's going, you should have been leaning on me the whole time. So when we fall on our face and we don't know where to go, we don't know where to turn, God sends the fish. You see, the fish is a do-over. That's your opportunity to go, okay, I can't do this. To fall on your face like Jonah does and go, I cannot do this. Jonah gets a do-over. Even though he didn't deserve it. You see, the beauty of God is that he is the epitome of something called grace. We have to have faith to accept him. But after we've accepted him, grace is what truly sets us free. You see, grace is what held Christ on the cross. The nails didn't do anything. Grace held him there. Grace is what kept the lions' mouths closed in the lion's den. Grace is what kept the flames at bay in the furnace. Grace kept the sea standing tall when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea. That's grace. You see, the difference between grace and everything else in the world that we consider to be important, more important than God, is this. Grace is given to you even though you don't deserve it. Everything else is earned. Did you catch that? Grace is given even when you don't deserve it, especially when you don't deserve it. That is grace. See, we as humans, we really can't understand grace because that's a God thing. That's not something that we can actually accomplish. Because at the end of the day, in our selfishness and our self-centeredness, we forget about the fact that we should be doing this because we love you, because we love other people, because we care about other people. At the end of the day, even the most holy of us still look at it and go, yeah, that was a pretty good guy at that moment. You see, grace is something that is God-breathed. This is grace. Jonah in the fish is grace. Even though at the moment it didn't look like it, the pressure was on him. He was in the sea, the seaweed. He felt all hope was gone. But God showed him grace. And it said, and the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah on the dry land. You see, at times in life, we mess up. At times in life, it just seems like the world's coming to an end and there's nothing that we can do. At times in life, we look up and go, man, there's no way God can love me through this. There's no way God is big enough to help me get through this. Been there. I know some of you are going, no, my God is the God. He can forgive you. And that's great. I'm glad you have that faith. But there's others that are listening in tonight and they're going, man, my God can't deal with this. My God, there's no way. He's too good to deal with my sin. He's too good to forgive me of my sin. But the reality is, God died for you just as much as he died for me. He died for your sin just as much as he died for my sin. You see, he didn't die for the saved. He died for the lost. He died for the people that were the sinners. He died for the Romans that nailed him to the tree just as much as he died for you and me that hold him there. I got a buddy at work and he's on every welding hood, every hard hat he's got, I am the nail. You know, one day we were sitting at a plant and he goes, he's sitting there, he brings it up to me because we know the guy we're working with is not saved. And he goes, hey man, you remember what this means? And I'm honestly totally forgot, had no clue what it was. And it's just, all it is a nail super glued to whatever he's got on his head at the time. And it says, I am. And it's right below, it's the nail. It says, I am the nail. And the guy we're working with goes, no, man, what is that? And he says, I am the nail. And the guy goes, okay, what's the deal with the nail? He says, I am the nail that held Christ on the tree, on the cross. He said, and the guy goes, what are you talking about? What do you mean? He said, and we had an awesome opportunity to go, Christ died for us. And it wasn't the nails that held him on the tree. It was the grace that he showed us. The grace that he showed Jonah at this moment. You see, grace is something that, it's God thing. It's only something that can come from God. You see, grace is what held him on the tree because he loved us enough to die for our sins. You see, because not only did Christ die on the tree, die on the cross, but he was shunned by his Father. He was shunned by God. And he knew that was going to happen. Did you catch that? He knew that was going to happen. There's a reason in the garden he said, take this cup from me if it's possible. It's because he didn't want to do it. He did not necessarily want to die and to suffer. And it wasn't the physical death or the physical suffering he was afraid of. It was the fact that he knew his God, his Father, was going to turn his back on him so that we could be free. But we were worth it. And so he accepted the challenge. And he showed us grace. Jonah in the sea, tossed about to drown. He showed him grace by sending the fish. You see, that was Jonah's do-over. That was Jonah's get out of jail card. That was Jonah's opportunity to reflect on his ignorance and turn back to God. And that's exactly what he does. Okay, it's a lot, I know. So here's the deal. Are you needing a do-over? Are you needing that reset? Is it time to hit the reset button on your life? Are you sitting at home every day going, I have nothing to do. There's not enough Netflix anymore. There's not enough Hulu. Disney Plus is great, but I can't watch Mandalorian anymore. It's gotten old. Okay, no one ever said that. But are you at that point in life where you need a break, where you need to say, okay, I need to start over? Your Christianity is solid. There's no doubt that you are saved. But your walk is trash. You don't serve anymore. You don't worship anymore. You can't figure out how to plug in right now, especially. And you need that get out of jail free card. You need that reset button to get hit. This is it. That's called grace. You see, you call on God just like Jonah did. And you pray. And you say, God, I remember you. Even though I've forgotten you, I remember you. I'm not like that anymore. I don't want that life anymore. And you turn back to him. You see, God's grace is waiting. It's open arms. It's waiting for you to turn back to him. And right now I'm talking mostly just to Christians, to people that have a saving knowledge of Christ. Understand that if you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to take a life check. See, we're talking about something way bigger than just a yes or a no. Or okay, I'll be good for a day or two. This is a life choice. This is a life-changing choice. So, in closing, where are you at? Are you in the sea tossed about, preparing to drown, knowing that it's over? Are you in the fish? You got your opportunity, but you're not quite taking advantage of it yet. You haven't said, okay, God, I get it. You've shown grace. I'm still alive. Or are you post? Are you shown? Have you been shown that grace? Acknowledged it? Begged for forgiveness? Accepted that he has forgiven you? That's key. Accept that he forgives you. Be grateful for that. And start over. You see, that's what Jonah had to do next. And that's where we're going to be next week. You see, that's just the beginning of the story. Thank you, guys. I love y'all. My family and I miss you so much. Thank you so much.